And in the 6 or 8 steps it takes to get from his house to my house, my wife and I decided that I will never be in the room with that disgusting person ever again.
Well, he couldn't be more clear, could he, right? He says, hey, I may have been his next door neighbor, but I met him once before the 2008 guilty plea. Remember I said that was a big deal? And we got invited over, and it was like 5 seconds, and we left, and we realized he was a creep. We were out of there. He made this rude, lewd comment in front of my wife. I would never go see this guy. I mean, he makes it super clear he's gross.
So I was never in the room with him socially, for business, or for even philanthropy. If that guy was there, I wasn't going because he's gross.
These other guys, they may have participated.
They participated.
But Howard Lutnick, he could never. No, he's too good of a guy. Well, guess what we found in the old emails? Looky. It's Howard Lutnick writing in to Jeffy Boy in 2012. Hi, Jeff. We're landing in St. Thomas early afternoon, planning to head over. Where are you located? What's the exact location for my captain? Does Sunday evening for dinner sound good? Is this the guy you said made a lewd comment to your wife? Oh, I could never be in front of him. He's gross. Guess what the next email is? My boy's wife messaging in, saying we're headed towards you in St. Thomas. Later, the subject line, Jeffrey Epstein. Good morning, Howard. Jeffrey wished me to pass you along. Nice seeing you. They clearly met, and the guy is just lying about it to your face, to the American public's face, and they tried to hide it from us. I cannot emphasize this enough. They're lying through their teeth. You think this guy perfectly remembers a 2005, like walking in the guy's house? I remember exactly what I said to him. My wife and I looked at each other, and he wouldn't remember the 2012. I boated over to his private island for a dinner. Is that what we're really thinking? Is that what we're expected to believe? This is a momentary lapse in his judgment. No, these guys don't even care about being consistent. And they're all throwing each other under the bus. Don't you remember Elon Musk saying, the time to drop the really big bomb, Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That's the real reason they haven't been made public. My guy, you also are in the Epstein files, very clearly doing stuff you lied about, okay? So is Howard Lutnick, who says, yeah, Bill Gates, he's probably getting blackmailed because he participated. What did you do on the island over in 2012, Howard? Do we know that? I mean, does anyone care? Now, the last thing I want to talk about is some of the most explosive stuff. It's also, again, I have to say, unverified, okay? This is the NTOC, the FBI's National Threat Operations Center, and the challenge with confirming some of this is that these are anonymous tips, or they black them out at least, so we don't know who they are, and anyone can drop a tip. Now, that doesn't mean that you should disregard them. It just means we can't verify them. The other challenge is that the FBI has a heavy incentive to discredit anything with Donald Trump in it, just because he's in the White House right now, obviously. And so I want to be clear, there are notes related to some of these submissions where they say things like Clinton was spoken to and deemed not credible. Additional research showed 3 separate redacted. You know, it's hard to tell how much this is the proper due diligence of the FBI, which they should be doing, of course, and not all complaints are credible. But also there's this obvious conflict of interest with the fact that the sitting president is in some of these complaints. But here they are for what it's worth. Complaint summary. Blank reported an unidentified female friend who was forced to perform on President Trump approximately 35 years ago in New Jersey. The friend told Alexis that she was approximately 13 to 14 years old when this occurred, and the friend allegedly bit President Trump while performing. The friend was allegedly hit in the face after she laughed about biting President Trump. The friend also said she was abused by Epstein. Later, there's very explosive claims about big parties with her, other younger girls, and older Victoria's Secret models, including Bill Clinton and Donald Trump. There's claims third hand about a female victim of Epstein's who wants to publish a book citing Leslie Wexner, Epstein, Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, Ghislaine Maxwell is in the videos as well. And it goes on like this for a while. Some of the complaints are just like very graphic, and obviously I'm gonna censor out some of it. But I should also mention the DOJ claims that some of these claims were submitted to the FBI right before the 2020 election. To be clear, the claims are unfounded and false, and if they had any shred of credibility, they would have certainly been weaponized against President Trump already. Now, I agree that if a complaint is timed right before an election, there definitely could be some other motivations to that. But it's also ridiculous to say that anything in the Epstein files, if it were true, would have come out already. Because why didn't we see the stuff about Bill Gates, for example? I mean, that stuff apparently has been sitting in here for a long time. And not only did no one talk about it, the FBI literally covered for it. I mean, they said that this was not the case. There are big claims against a lot of powerful people. Nobody in that file really wants to rock the boat or release the files, because then they get in trouble and their buddies get in trouble, and that's a huge problem. So I don't really buy the idea that, oh, if it were true, it would have already gotten out. I don't buy that. That's why we need transparency. That's why it's important these files are out. But this is just a look at a small fraction of the files. And over the next few weeks, we're gonna go through all of the major findings we can from this 3.5 million page document dump. But seriously, think about how discrediting this has been, not only to this administration, but to so many rich and powerful people who have lied through their teeth happily towards you in order to hide their relationship with this man that many of them held post-guilty plea. And some of them, now we know, Epstein prepared blackmail for them, and according to reports, threatened.
Jimmy Donaldson, better known as Mr. Beast, is possibly the most famous person on the internet. His nearly 500 million subscribers on YouTube is enough to impress anyone, although the allure of Mr. Beast is much more complicated than just saying he has a large audience. Jimmy's strict attention to detail and downright obsessive behavior towards content creation has completely shifted the culture of YouTube itself, and he has made a permanent impact on what it means to be a content creator. This obsessive personality has also led Jimmy to branch out to other business ventures, expanding his brand far past what you might expect. Interestingly, the common theme amongst all of these projects is that some form of controversy surrounds their existence. So today I wanted to take a closer look at the many businesses of Mr. Beast, and decide for myself just how successful they really are. One of the most notable content styles on the Mr. Beast channel are his last to leave challenges, in which contestants are required to remain within a small area or keep their hand on an object for an extended period of time. In spite of their simplicity, these uploads have seen massive success, bringing in hundreds of millions of views. What's more, its simple nature gave many the impression that they too could win the challenge if given the opportunity. This is what birthed Finger on the App, a mobile application that gave anyone with a smartphone the ability to compete in an official Mr. Beast challenge. Much like the name suggests, participants simply had to put their finger on the screen and attempt to outlast other competitors from across the country for a chance to win 25 grand. Each user got 3 lives and would be frequently prompted to pop bubbles on their device to ensure that no one was cheating. The date was set for June 30th, 2020, and the event was met with great anticipation, with over 1 million people taking part in the challenge. After 3 days, the number shrunk all the way down to just 4 contestants who had continued to keep their appendage on the phone. With seemingly no end in sight, Mr. Beast called the challenge early and awarded the finalists with $20,000 each. While this was a win at the time, in hindsight, I'm not exactly sure Mr. Beast had the right to end the event early without giving each of the finalists their full 25 grand. Why did he get chintzy on the last 5K? Regardless, the event went extremely well, aside from one small issue. Some of the contestants chose to document their efforts by live streaming their attempts on Twitch and YouTube. Online trolls gave their best effort to spoil the competition for anyone they could. Using fake usernames, they tricked dozens of players into unintentionally activating their iPhone's Siri function, temporarily closing the app and disqualifying them as a result.
Wait, did we get any new followers? Oh, hey Ziri, I appreciate the... Oh my god!
I don't know what that means.
Bruh. Are you kidding me?
Bruh. Despite these caveats, preparation quickly began for the second Finger on the App challenge. With a massive $100,000 prize and a brand new upgraded system now loaded with the ability to pay Mr. Beast for extra lives, expectations were higher than ever, although nobody could have predicted how much of a disaster it would end up being. Things took a turn for the worse right off the bat. Users reported that the game was randomly closing on them, disqualifying fans from the challenge unfairly. Other contestants began losing their lives despite keeping their finger on the screen and actively engaging with the app when prompted.
I was playing normally, right? At 6 hours. I had 3 hearts right here. I was doing just fine, playing legitly with my chat. Okay, now watch this. What? Like what?
What is that?
How does someone move their finger like that?
Yeah, and it's going on and on.
There is no
It's
sweat
going on
on
and
the
on.
screen. This is...
No.
Come on, this has to be addressed, man.
Understandably, these contestants were furious, having sunk hours of their time into a contest they never had a chance to win. These feelings were even worse for those who had spent real money in-game to buy extra lives, as their hard-earned cash was essentially burned right in front of their eyes. Many took to Twitter to voice their frustrations, and others began review bombing the challenge in the Apple and Google store pages. Mr. Beast and the development team gave a plethora of different excuses for why these glitches were happening. Some of them were chalked up to malfunctions on their device's hardware, while others were explained as internet connectivity issues. But it doesn't appear they ever acknowledged any technical errors on their behalf. Jimmy himself also reiterated the sentiment that these issues were entirely out of their control, placing all of the blame on those who were disqualified from